All right, everybody. Let's do this. Good evening, all you beer nerds, newbies, and know-it-alls, and welcome to the 12 Beers of Christmas craft beer experience brought to you by City Brew Tours. I'm your host, Brian. I'm going to be your host for the next 11 nights of live content hosted here on Zoom and streamed live on YouTube. I'm very happy to be joined by my wonderful co-host, the always awesome Julie Walker. Julie, how you doing?
I'm good, Brian. You look super festive. I was going to make fun of you for that blazer, but it's kind of awesome. And also, I don't think I can talk because look at this. Let's see if it works. So I am feeling just as festive as you tonight. So I'm really excited to be here kicking off our 12 beers of Christmas with our second beer of the box. How good was that winter IPA last night, by the way?
It was so good. I loved it. Five Boroughs does great stuff. That was an awesome beer to kick things off with.
Yeah, absolutely. I really liked it. So it was like the hazy style IPA, but it was also kind of like a winter warmer, which I'm not used to. So I really liked it. I could imagine like having it after a day of skiing. I've never skied before, by the way, but if I skied, I feel like I would really like it. I'm just kind of curling up with it and kind of feeling warm and cozy, but also getting that kind of New England IPA vibe. So that was really cool. So I'd like to hear what everyone else thought. So feel free to pop it in the chat, your reactions to night one's beer.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks to everybody that is active in the chat and everybody on YouTube right now for joining us this evening. And thanks to everybody at our company, City Brew Tours Unboxed Enterprises, that helped us put together this awesome box. And I cannot wait to see what we have tonight.
Yeah. Stop waiting. Open it up.
Let's go to Box Cam.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing, Brian. I love your box cam.
Yes.
I want a box cam.
Well, I may have a box cam, but I don't know how to get my box open. Woo! What do we have tonight, Jolie?
So tonight we have the Chill Helles Lager beer by Baerlic Beer Company out of Portland. How cool is this can, by the way?
Awesome can. Awesome
like
can.
Kind of retro. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Throw your thoughts up on that awesome can into the chat. We'd love to hear what everybody thinks about the artwork on tonight's can and every can we have coming from the 12 Beers of Christmas. Jolie, any other thoughts on this awesome can? Baerlic?
No, I'm really liking it. I'm loving the color style. It kind of matches our whole, I think it matches me very nicely. I'm liking it.
It does. It compliments you very well. So tonight, what are we doing? We're not just going to sit here and open boxes and switch back and forth between my cam and box can. Tonight, we're going to walk you through our 5-step beer appraisal. We'll talk about how to professionally appraise this awesome Chill Helles Lager from Baerlic. We're also going to talk about why we're doing the 12 Beers of Christmas. We're going to talk a little bit about how beer ties into the holiday, and we'll even be answering some of your questions live.
Yes. So we do have a chat moderator with us tonight and every night to help answer the questions. So there is the Q&A section. So if there is a question you'd like us to try to answer or attempt to answer, feel free to throw it in the Q&A. And for the chat, you could use that like you're using it already for speaking with each other and kind of talking about your reactions to the beer, making fun of Brian's blazer, whatever you want to do with it. Hi, Kate, our chat moderator. How are you doing tonight?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay, Kate. So please hit Kate up with your questions. Keep active in the chat. It's already awesome. We see a lot of people discussing that every beer should be a 16-ounce can, and I can't disagree with that.
Yep.
But yeah, so we have this awesome Chill Helles Lager from Baerlic, and you want to grab a clean glass. So let's do a perfect pour so we can get everybody drinking if you haven't already started drinking this night.
Yes, I love this sound. Okay. So we are going to pour into a glass. Like Brian said, what is the point of this beer if we're not drinking it with you tonight? So just to give you a little kind of walkthrough of how to do the perfect pour, and this is something you can use every night after tonight. What you're going to want to do is pour it down kind of at the middle of your glass here. And then once you get, I would say about halfway to 2/3 of the way up, you're going to flip it right side up and pour it straight down the middle so you get some good head on that beer. So I'm going to show you that while Brian talks a bit about why we do this.
So the first reason we're going to pour our beer into our glass, you're going to see happening in front of your very eyes. Look at that beautiful beer come together, that beautiful pour come together in the glass. You could see that brilliant head. And that's exactly why we're going to pour it into a glass. We drink with our eyes. We eat with our eyes. So we want to take a look at that beautiful beer. Pouring it into a glass is also going to agitate the CO2 in the beer, bring out more of the aromatics, and just make for a wonderful beer drinking experience.
Yep, absolutely. And if you are planning to continue the party tonight, the day after Christmas party, you'll want to be sure to pour into a glass as well, because all of that air is going to go into the glass and not straight into your stomach. So you have more room for more beer, which I think is definitely important. So cheers, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Cheers. Merry Christmas. Let's go to the chat. What are people saying? Chill tastes like a light summer lager from Scott End. I can't disagree with that. This beer would be tastes excellent now. It would be even better, I think, if it was a lot hotter outside and I wasn't shoveling snow this morning. Prost to Z-Man. First sip was great, says James. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the chat. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on in this Hellas lager.
Yeah,
so
this is really good. I'm excited to have it tonight. So now that everyone has a beer in their hands, I'm sure people are wondering who we are, other than Brian and Julie, why we're doing this and why you're the one running the show. So Brian, tell us about you.
Cool. So the reason I'm doing this is because I'm a beer nerd. I've been a home brewer for over 10 years now. I am a certified beer server under the Cicerone certification program. I've been with City Brew Tours for about 3 years now. Started as a beer guide, ran tours here in my wonderful hometown of Pittsburgh, and have ran tours actually in a couple other cities. I think I've ran tours in Boston, Burlington, Cleveland. So I just love beer, and I'm so excited to be talking about beer with everybody over the next 11 days. Julie, how about you? Why are you qualified?
Yeah, absolutely. So Brian, I think we're kind of the same person. So I've also been a home brewer myself for about 10 years. I'm definitely passionate about craft beer. I've been with City Brew Tours for just over a year now, starting as a tour operations coordinator, now online events coordinator. So I've gotten to see a lot of really cool things happen here at City Brew Tours. And just really, again, overall a beer nerd like you, Brian. I'm a certified beer server through the Cicerone program, which is like the wine sommelier program. So definitely love talking about beer, teaching people about beer, and absolutely drinking beer. So I know we said the main topic for tonight was going to be our 5-step beer appraisal. So Brian, how about take it away?
Let's do this. So like I mentioned before, we drink with our eyes first. So pouring the beer into a glass is going to allow us to start the first part of the assessment, and that's to assess the appearance of the beer. We want to take a look at this beer. We got a nice golden lager here. Very pale in its color. Let me see. Hold on. I'm getting something coming through here. Kate, can you help me out here?
Absolutely.
What is going on? Looks like somebody's trying to join.
Who is that?
Somebody named
Brian. What is happening right now? Are you messing with me?
Chris K?
Hey, listen here. I've been sitting here listening to you guys do all your introductions here. All you keep doing is talking about all these people you need to thank for these boxes. But you listen, I'm the one that puts this whole event on. I have to fly all around the world every single year, get all these packages out to everybody. I'd like a little appreciation.
Jeez. Chris Kringle coming in hot. Sorry, Santa, we didn't realize. So Santa's smoking. Great. We didn't realize how hard this year, it's been on you too. Tell you what, why don't you grab the box that we sent to the North Pole and you crack
I
open
think
it?
he already did.
Yes, he's already dead. Wow.
I'm kind of starstruck right now, but also mostly scared. Are you smoking a candy cane right now, by the way?
Well, I knew you two were a couple of stiffs. This is not a candy cane. You're probably holding it like this. What happens is you're actually supposed to hold it like this. Now, what letter is that?
A backwards J?
Yes, the J. You think that's a coincidence? I don't think so.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
So I think that Chris Kringle needs this more than anyone. So let's walk through the beer appraisal with our good friend Santa. He definitely deserves a drink after doing a 24-hour shift, probably with a mask
That's
on.
what I'm saying. I just want some appreciation here.
Well, we're going to get it. Julie, you want to take over the appearance since I stumbled my way through that?
Yes, absolutely. So Santa, if you were drinking this beer and pouring it into a glass, you can see a few things with the appearance of a beer.
I can't see a thing in this can here.
What are you drinking it out of a can, Santa? So if you see here, actually the Helles lager means pale in color, like New Englanders after a long winter. So you'll see here, it's like a very pale yellow color. It's super clear. You can talk about the clarity of a beer when you're looking at it. You can wiggle your fingers behind it. And if you're doing this at home right now, basically it tells me that
Hold on here. Let me
anything I tell you.
Guys are going too fast for an old timer like me.
Are you pouring it into a glass, Santa?
Thank you, Santa.
Got
There
my
you
glass
go.
right there.
All right.
Well,
So we did the color, we did the clarity. You can kind of see the head on the beer. One thing you can do that's similar to when you're doing a wine tasting is you can swirl it a little bit, careful not to spill, and see how the head clings to the side. And that will kind of tell you the lacing of the beer, which I think is kind of a fun thing. So that's the appearance section. Santa, what do you see there in your beer?
Well, I see a lot of people asking how I get extra beers. And let me tell you, when you got a whole group of elves up here, you can get these beers as many as you want. I got plenty.
I hope Santa isn't implying he stole these beers from us. But so one of the other reasons we get that into a glass, like I mentioned earlier, is so we can take a look or take a smell at the aroma of the beer. So having it into a glass is going to allow us to get our nose in there and get a nice sniff. What's everybody smelling when they get a nice like drive-by sniff of this beer? We don't want to jam our nose in there like a fancy wine person
smell
and sniff too
gingerbread.
hard.
Gingerbread.
Chris Kringle smells gingerbread. Maybe that's what he was smoking out of his candy canes. Anybody else smelling anything? I get a little bit of cracker out of this beer. Maybe a little bit of like fruit character coming from the hops that are in it. Brian says it smells like Cheerios. Maybe a little bit of a cereal smell to it. Think Santa had too much nutmeg. That is possible, Andrew. So we get some aromas out of this beer, and definitely having the beer in a glass is going to help that immensely. Now, a Helles isn't something that's known for its overwhelming aromas, but taking a sniff of this beer is going to cue our senses for something we're going to taste later. And one other trick you saw Julie just do there is to take your hand over the glass, give it a little swirl around, kind of trap those aromas in there. Don't spill beer all over your desk. And you can get a nice fresh take on the aromas coming out of that glass. Santa, what are you getting besides gingerbread?
He's getting beer on his mustache. That's what he's getting.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough to smell through all this.
So after you do the appearance and the aroma, next is the taste, everyone's favorite part, right? So it might taste kind of familiar if you are a
Is this the
Pilsner
right
fan.
tool to use for the taste
What is
test?
that? No, that is definitely not the right tool, Santa. Get
Tastes
that
like
straw
candy
out of your
canes.
glass. So if you might taste a little bit of like breadiness. So it was the Helles Lager was Germany's answer to the Czech Pilsner. So it might be similar, a little bit of that
I
bitterness.
like it better through my straw.
You do you, Santa. I mean, you deserve this. I definitely get it. So you might get a little bit of that breadiness, a little bit of that bitterness on the back end. This one especially has like a really nice full flavor to it. I'm really enjoying that, the taste of this one. How is it through the straw, Santa? What are you getting? Santa's out of control. Yes.
A little too sweet, I think. They might want to back off a bit on that.
Too sweet
Or-
for Santa?
That could probably be the candy that you're sucking the beer through. So let's move on to the next step.
I'm here to give them appreciation, not to learn different ways to drink my beer. I'll drink it how I want to drink it.
Santa's fired up, folks. So the next thing we're going to get from the beer after the flavor or the taste of the beer is the mouthfeel. Basically, how does this beer sit on our tongue? The taste could be looked at as the front of our palate. And once the beer sits on our tongue for a little bit, we start to get a sense of the mouthfeel of the beer. Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it effervescent? Is it kind of smoother on the carbonation? What are people thinking in the chat about this one? Do they feel that higher sense of carbonation with this?
I think
Hits
we
the
broke.
back of my
I think
palate,
we
says Andrew.
broke Jeff. He needs another beer to finish the call.
Oh boy.
I think I like the texture of milk more.
Okay, Chris.
Can lead
Hey.
Chris through a milk tasting next time.
Yeah, didn't you get enough milk 2 nights ago?
Oh, I sure did.
He still has room for beer though.
So again, the mouthfeel of the beer, it's going to tell us a couple things about the beer. If the beer feels heavy on our mouth, it's most likely going to be a thicker beer or
Milk. Could
or
be
milk. Or milk. I was going to say a milk stout. Can Santa light it up? You know, if you got your candy canes at home, please don't do that. Just eat them like normal. The candy canes that came in your box, please just eat those. That's what they're for.
Don't
They're for
try
eating.
this at home. So after the mouthfeel, we have the finish. I'm not even going to comment on the candy canes. I feel like that's definitely not the first candy cane. So the finish of the beer, how about, let's put this up in the chat. So if you've been to a wine tasting, after you've kind of gotten the wine in your mouth, you've swirled it around, what do they typically instruct you to do with that wine? Let's see if anyone can answer this one. Spit it, says Todd, all in caps. Spit it out. Yes. So at a wine tasting, they're going to say spit it out. But when you're drinking beer, definitely don't spit it out. The finish is a really important part of that taste. So once you've tasted it, figured out that mouthfeel, then you swallow it. And that's when you're going to get the finish. So that's going to bring on some of that back end bitterness that we mentioned with this one. It might bring out some different flavors kind of when it hits the back of your throat. So you're going to get a lot of different flavors when you finish it. So Santa, how about that beer? This may be your first, it may be your third. I can't even tell anymore. How was the finish of your beer?
Well, I'm not telling you how many I've had up here, but I deserve it. I had a hard couple days there getting around the world. So I've been trying to tell you this whole call.
Jeez. Santa, well, I've had enough of Santa. I think this is enough. We're not going to get through the rest of this content
Don't you
that we
worry,
have.
I'll be back tomorrow.
I think, yeah, that's enough. We're just going to have to get rid of it. That's
I
enough of
didn't even
Santa.
get to say thank you to Santa, so I get presents next year. Oh, well.
Well, you'll have another opportunity at the mall next year, I think. Given the amount of beers he's had tonight, I think there's a good chance he won't remember next year. So
Could be true.
yeah.
I have a lot of questions after that. Like, I have so many questions. But my main question right now is, Brian, why are we doing 12 beers of Christmas?
Well, basically, we wanted an excuse to drink a new beer every night for 12 straight days following Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, me too. That sounds awesome. So there is a little bit of biblical history around 12 days of Christmas for those who don't know. So according to the Bible, this was the time period between when Jesus was born and when the 3 wise men arrived at the manger, according to biblical history. So that's where the 12 days of Christmas comes from. Of course, we did our own spin on it, made the 12 beers of Christmas.
Yeah. For our purposes, we really just wanted to get you a present on Christmas that would last every day into the new year. And we threw some goodies in there with each beer.
Like these candy canes that you're not supposed to smoke.
Yeah,
Santa.
just eat those. Please just
Yes.
eat the candy canes.
Yes. There's also some fun history kind of surrounding beer and Christmas and holidays. So there's been this tradition of beer as a holiday beverage that actually dates back to the Viking time. Did you know that, Brian?
I
Pretty
did
cool.
not. I assumed they drank like fermented blood or
Out
something.
of the
But
giant horn or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they drank beer out of a horn. I don't know. So they would drink to their gods during the Yule season, Jul, Yule. And there was a King Haakon of Norway, who actually made it a rule that everybody had to brew a Christmas beer every year. And there would be like a fine if you didn't brew it. Now, if you didn't brew this beer for 3 years in a row, there was a certain consequence. So let's take some guesses in the chat. What consequence do you think there was if you didn't brew this holiday Yule beer for 3 years in a row? Back in Norway, death.
Blood eagle.
Lots of Krampus. I like it. So with this one, what actually happened, not quite so bad, although those were some consequences for brewing bad beer, I think in Egypt, right? Brian drowning in the beer, death.
Yep.
But in Norway, the consequence was that you would lose your land. So you didn't brew this Christmas beer for 3 years, you would lose your land. But lucky for everybody on this call and for your cows, we sent you a whole box of beer. So you're good to go for the next 11 nights.
Yeah, so that's kind of what you can expect for the next 10 nights of content. Just hopefully with less interruptions from Santa.
Yes, we will have some more guests. I don't think Santa's coming back tomorrow, but I mean, I didn't even expect him tonight, so I don't know. But you'll be learning more about the beer in your boxes. We'll be answering your questions about the beer, really about anything. Brian and I like to talk. We'll answer your questions about whatever questions you have over the next few nights as well.
Yeah, and definitely make sure to check out our daily blogs at citybrewtours.com/Christmas. Each night we'll post a blog that ties into the live content from that evening. We've already posted tonight's blog, written by our awesome sales coordinator, Emily. She continues the discussion on how beer ties into the holidays. So take a look at that if you're interested in learning more. And then we'll also be updating these blogs every morning with answers to any questions that we couldn't get to from the previous night.
And I can tell in the chat, you feel the same way as we do. We apologize for Santa's rude interruption tonight. Definitely not expected. So tomorrow night, we're going to be joined by a guest that actually has spent a day or two in the brewing industry. So be sure to bring some questions, about brewing, about beer, that hopefully they can answer tomorrow, and log on at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night.
Wait, is this the end?
Brian, you sound so sad right now.
Yeah, I
you're
don't
so
want it to
sad.
be over.
I know. We'll be back tomorrow, though. We'll see everybody there, too.
Oh. Okay, then. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
We'll
everybody.
see you tomorrow.
Cheers. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.